Welcome to 100 Days of Service Now. I'm your host, Kali Alexander, and today I'm joined by my colleague, HRSD expert, Alex Sheehy. Let's welcome Alex Sheehy to 100 Days of Service Now. Boom, 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 boom. What it do, Alex?
Great to be here. Thanks for letting me on your podcast.
Of
Excited to
course.
talk to you about all things HR today.
Yeah, so what are we talking about today, Alex?
So we're going to get into some of the predictive intelligence and machine learning features that ServiceNow just rolled out for HRSD.
Exciting time in service now because with the Vancouver release and then moving forward with the Washington release, we're seeing a lot of generative AI, predictive intelligence, machine learning, now assist. Tell me the difference between all of those and those intersections.
Yeah, absolutely. So I feel like everywhere you go these days, you're hearing AI this, ChatGPT that. So ServiceNow has predictive intelligence, which is the system's ability to propose solutions to agents based on things like cases and knowledge base articles. That uses similarity framework. ServiceNow just came out with the Now Assist, which is their, we'll call it flavor of machine learning, which goes and complements that predictive intelligence really well. We can do it to leverage things like case summarizations for HR and really those personalized responses for things like virtual agent conversations.
So you're talking about case summarization. You said that Now Assist is ServiceNow's flavor of machine learning. I love the way you said that. Just 2 weeks ago, I was in Las Vegas for ServiceNow SCO, walking down the strip, living the life, and I kind of manifested this because I said there's one person that I really want to meet. So as I'm walking by myself. Who's approaching me? No one other than Dave Wright, ServiceNow Chief Innovation Officer. And I had been following his writings on LinkedIn. One of the things that he said is that 2023 is the year that generative AI is like the new thing, sort of like a novelty. But the imperative for us in 2024 is to really put generative AI to work. So I'm excited to hear how you're going to be talking about that in our conversation today. So can you share a little bit about what are some of the challenges that organizations are facing around HR service delivery, and how does machine learning Now Assist help to address that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, some of the common pain points that I hear all the time with HR departments are, slow resolution times, huge case volumes, a lot of redundant tasks, lack of self-service options. And those are all things that, we can kind of help eliminate or reduce significantly by leveraging these new tools. Whether that's self-service in something like a portal, which I think we have a screenshot of that coming up. I'm a huge proponent of that one start or one stop shop to get, what you need in one place. Also, like I said, those personalized answers based on the information that the system has really gets, what I need done quickly so I can go back to my job as an end user. And also it can help kind of, again, reduce that noise and that redundancy for HR agents working on those cases.
We talked about reducing noise and redundancy. When you said that, it reminded me of my time at a former employer where I was, in a past life, I was a teacher. And one of the things that my manager had to take care of was managing when I would be off work or when other teachers would be off work, and then having to bring in substitute teachers to cover classes. That process was in and of itself a mammoth task to have to deal with. Because imagine every day you have dozens and dozens of teachers at just one school, at one location, and having to manage all of that. And teachers not just being sick, but they have to go to a conference, or they're going on a field trip, and then some of the kids are being left behind. They need to be managed. That means another teacher needs to be there. So I'm thinking about that type of noise and that type of headache. I'm thinking that what you're talking about would help to alleviate a lot of that. Talk to me.
It absolutely would alleviate a lot of that. I think that that is a great situation and a good kind of use case for this. I'm sure it was really difficult, not only for you to know where to go to request that and have to do it so often. It was probably hard for the people on the back end to work that for you and all the other teachers, and substitutions and schedules. I think that that does sound like quite a bit of noise, and that's exactly what the ServiceNow platform is kind of here to help. Kali, do me a
Yeah.
favor. Let's pull up that first screenshot, and I'll kind of talk you through
Absolutely.
one. I'm so
Absolutely.
excited to talk about this. All right.
Let's do it.
So what we're looking at here is a screenshot of the new portal that ServiceNow came out with. This is the Employee Center. And why I love talking about this so much is because this now gives people a one stop or one start shop, however you want to say it. But this allows you, in your specific example, to navigate to one place, whether you need HR help for your PTO, or you need something for IT, or you have a legal question. I'm not having to go to 8 different portals. It's just one place, which is kind of the first step in making that an overall, kind of better experience. Not only do we have the taxonomy here, we can also leverage all of those great portal features like enterprise search, quick links, all of those things to kind of help the personalized journey. And again, get you what you need quicker, right?
I love that because at the end of the day, I think back to my time as an elementary teacher. The best use of our vice principal's time was not trying to figure out what substitute is covering room 12, right? So can you imagine just how that level of efficiency helps the entire organization to operate more optimally? So I love what you're talking about. When I'm looking at this slide, am I to understand that these are self-service functions? Is that correct?
They absolutely can be. So anything that we see here, whether it's compensation, whether it's career development, we can set this up and leverage the system in a way that empowers users to submit the right case types, or maybe even deflect cases using knowledge articles. That's a huge pain point that I hear all the time. Hey, we have policies and procedures in place today. Nobody uses them. And a lot of the time it's because nobody knows where to find them. So how
Sure.
do we solve that? We put it all in one place and we make it really easy to access.
Yeah, this looks like a dream, and it's a lot better than things that I've dealt with in the past. And audience, folks that are out there right now, tell me, is this the type of experience you've had with your HR service? I'm curious about what were those manual processes like? What were some of those headaches that you experienced? That would really help us. Should I move to the next slide here, Alex?
Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the next one. All right, so this one's a really cool slide for me. So this is showcasing the virtual agent, which again is one of those features that we can leverage for self-service in the portal. But with the new Now Assist, which again is ServiceNow's Gen AI tool, we can start to take that data that's in the system. The solution gets trained after we turn on the plugin, and we can start to get, this is a great example of one of those personalized conversations. Hey, my PTO request is changing. Obviously, we can't change when our wife goes into labor. So instead of stressing out about that, having to go and scramble and contact your manager if you have approval policies or whatever you need to do to change this, the system is going to give you 2 options, and then we can kind of go from there. So those pre-baked in policies take all of the guesswork out of it for stuff like this.
So tell me a little bit more about this because this is very intriguing when you talk about virtual agent. You're training the model on a particular set of data. And am I understanding that it's based on like a set of so these are like the top 10, these are the top 20 issues that we see come up again and again in our organization. We can go ahead and train our model to give some self-service answers here. Tell me a little bit
Yep.
more about that.
Absolutely. So, how we mentioned that predictive intelligence and Now Assist kind of play off of each other. Well, there's certain things in the back end, like, natural language understanding, where our chatbot can start to see what we're typing and then start to predict predictive intelligence, those procedures that'll be helpful. With the Now Assist, again, it's turning on that plugin. And you guys probably hear it all the time with all these AI conversations. The more you use the tool, the smarter it gets and the better the solutions provided are. So, this Now Assist generative AI, it's looking at everything in the system to really give those pinpointed answers. And again, the longer we use it, the better and more accurate these get.
I like that. This is sort of like building sort of like muscle memory within generative AI. The more you use it, the smarter it becomes. And I imagine that organizations can find this becoming more and more useful over time. The more they use it, the more valuable of a tool that it becomes.
Absolutely. And the more use cases we find for it, oftentimes HR will come to us and we'll have, a specific subset of use cases with something like this, and just with the platform being so scalable, certainly something that you can grow into and the solution's going to grow with you. So
Absolutely.
really beautiful there. Yeah.
If you all are watching this right now, you will see a QR code on the screen. That QR code is for you to scan, and if you're not able to scan it, no worries. This link you can find also in the description for this live stream. It is to schedule a working session with us to get a little bit more information and insight into your HR processes that are giving you some trouble, and how we can help you to find a solution that can help your processes and HR service delivery be buttery smooth. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that, but I wanted to point that out for you now. Alex, should I go on to the next slide?
Absolutely. Let's do it. All
Here we
right.
go.
So what we're looking at this next slide is probably one of my favorite features on the platform. It resonates with me heavily, and I'll tell you why in a second. But we're looking at the agent assist in HR Agent Workspace. So this leverages that predictive intelligence to not, this is really where we're helping our HR agents cut down on that noise. We were talking about it, reduce that redundancy in their day-to-day job and really get things done faster. So this pulls from the predictive intelligence, and this will recommend knowledge-based articles, recommend procedures. If we're leveraging the Now Assist, this will do things like summarize the case, summarize the tasks within a parent case. It'll summarize your messages back and forth. So let's say I opened up a case in Virtual Agent and it transferred over. All of these things can be leveraged by our agents to get this done quicker and to boost that efficiency. Why I personally love this one so much is I, in a previous life, worked HR in the Navy, and we did everything so manual. Part of, my job duties was fixing people's pay stubs, which if you think about that, when your pay stub is messed up, you want it fixed like yesterday,
Heck
right?
yeah.
But I had 20 steps in between when I got, the ticket versus when the actual work got done, whether that was manual filing, don't even get me started on scanning. It took a lot of time. So I was averaging about a week per, fixing somebody's pay. If I had something like this, I could have gotten it done so much faster.
Dare I ask, did you ever have to work with triplicate papers? Like,
No, I'm glad I didn't. Those sound intense.
man, I worked at the fire department, and we often did a lot of things with triplicate, right? So you have a piece of paper in a stack, three layers, and so you write it. And so I keep one, you give one to somebody else, and then when they take it to the next person, they have the other one, right? So you have these triplicates, right? And then that goes into like a 3-ring binder.
Oh my goodness. The only time I think I've ever used those is when I took my car for an oil change, and I always use,
Yes.
but I couldn't imagine having to, keep one copy as an attachment, scan one copy, and try to email it somewhere. Again, this is where a solution like this comes in handy because everything's all in one place. If I
Right.
needed to go back and look at that paper or do whatever or attach it to an email, I can do that all right here from my HR agent workspace. And I can also leverage these awesome tools to, you know, speed up my time on whatever crazy triplicate paper I'm using. I'm glad that I never had to do those. Those sound like a lot.
Yeah, and I think about that because, using those triplicates and those various other manual processes, it did require us to have a extreme level of organization, right? We did it in triplicate to make sure that certainly at least if two people lose this, at least certainly one person will have it, right? So it's like the backup for the backup. So I'm imagining, right, having organizations that work with these manual processes, that there's already a sense of how important organization is. So imagine now they already have that in place. Now we're layering on technology to make processes run smoothly, right? So those organizations are already primed for a technological solution, because organizationally that step is already in place. Does that make sense?
It does. It absolutely does. And we're seeing it more and more where the process is locked down, but it's taking so much time. By the time, we're doing an implementation, those customers are ready. It makes things a lot
Yes.
easier. And honestly, the look on folks' face when you tell them that they don't have to scan or that you don't have to go into a file. I always talk to people about audit trails. Anything we do on ServiceNow is tracked, so you never run that risk of, if I lose the first copy, and you lose the second copy, then we're, not in a good spot. So I love what you said about organization, kind of having that pre-built, and it's really there to supplement these processes for these HR departments, really making their
Right.
life better.
Sure. And it's exciting to see how our customers are able to leverage processes that they already have in place. And then we are able to help them take it to a next level. We have this QR code. Do you want to tell folks a little bit more about that, Alex?
Yeah, absolutely. So if you guys like the conversation and want to continue talking to us, please take a second, scan that QR code. We'd love to continue these conversations with each and every one of you about how maybe some of the features that we talked about could help your HR departments. I always love nerding out on HR process stuff. So take us up on that, scan that QR code. We'd love to chat with you.
Absolutely. And at GlideFast, we provide the commitment, consistency, and the expertise that ServiceNow customers deserve on their investment. We would love to have a conversation with you. Scan that QR code or go to the description of this video, and you can click on the link, and we love to have a conversation. It's a workshop, it's a working session, it's completely free. It allows us to better see if there's a fit and a match for how we might be able to help your HR service delivery processes. Alex, I want to thank you so much for joining the stream. You are always so much fun. I cannot wait to see you again in person and to have you back on the stream.
Back at ya. Thanks for letting me chat with you today. It was so much fun.
Of course. So take good care now.
All right, bye.
Bye. So listen, don't go nowhere. That Alex Sheehy, she is something else. HR service delivery, she eats, sleeps, and drinks that. She is such a pleasure to work with. And when you come to GlideFast Consulting, Alex is the type of person that you'll have on your side, working with you shoulder to shoulder, making sure that you're getting everything that you want out of your ServiceNow investment. And speaking of some of my great colleagues, on February 20th, I'm going to be joined by HRSD expert Lynn Ballerini, 25 years in the game. In fact, it is her design for HRSD that was the early beginnings of what we know to be HRSD and ServiceNow today. So we're going to be in a great conversation talking about the 5 insights into HR service delivery in a post-pandemic world. So that's going to be a really great conversation. So listen, I have enjoyed having you on this episode of 100 Days of Service Now. Remember, be kind and stay curious, and I will see you next time. Bye.